What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Grounded 2. In this episode, we're going to show you how to find all 44 Mouldy Milk Molars. So smash the like button, consider hitting that subscribe, and let's get into it. So the Mouldy Milk Molars are for your buggies. Once collected, you can upgrade all sorts of things from health, stamina, healing, all different sorts of stuff. At the moment in the game, there's only 44, so let's go get them. So to make this easy for everyone to find, we're going to do this by sections. The first section we're going to do is the snack bar front. The first one you're going to find is underneath the hot dog stand. When you're under the hot dog stand, all you need to do is go to this big glass dome, and behind it, you're going to find your first Mouldy Milk Molar. You'll need a tier 1 hammer in order to break them. For this next one, you want to go out the front of the hot dog stand. You're going to see this massive big wooden platform out here, and you're going to see the curtain hanging down. If you go behind it, you'll find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. This is where it is on the map. So along the side of the hot dog stand and at the edge of the hedge, you're going to find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. This is where it's found on the map. You want to come in front of the hot dog stand. Once you get there, so you'll see these caps on the ground. Just off to the left of it, you're going to find a hole. Once you go down in here, you're going to need your ant buggy to do this one. And chop through these dead roots. Once you do that, just keep following it down. And you'll just find it here on the left. For our next location, you need to head underneath the headless robot or headless burgle. Once you go underneath the burgle, you're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar. For the final one in the snack bar front, you're going to find this on top of the camera. Climb up on top of the camera. It's a lot easier to do with a buggy. Once you get up here, you're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar sitting right here. So moving on to the next section called the entrance. The first thing you want to do is go to this bin. Once you get here, you're going to find your next milk molar on the left. So once you get to the trash can, all you need to do is come out to the back of it. You're going to find this can. Right behind the can is your Mouldy Milk Molar. So moving on from the trash can, all you want to do is follow it down the path. Once you come down the path here, you will find a spot where a praying mantis spawns. You need to be extremely careful of that. However, at the bottom of it, you will see the Mouldy Milk Molar. Moving on to the next area, the ice cream cart. The first one you're going to find is along this path. This one's actually extremely easy to find. If you follow this path, you'll see it just sitting out in the open next to this rock. For this next one, you're going to need cold gear, because you want to go all the way over to the ice cream cart, where you'll find this tipped over cup. Inside the tipped over cup, you're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar. For this next one, you actually want to get up on top of the ice cream cart. Once you're on top of the ice cream cart, all you need to do is walk to the edge of it, and you're going to see this blue pipe. Once you get there, drop over the edge, and you'll find your Mouldy Milk Molar right here. For the next milk molar, you want to make your way over to the giant tree. Once you get to here, so if you make your way from the ice cream cart, you're going to find this tree. Just climb up the branch right here, and on the mushroom right here, you're going to see your next Mouldy Milk Molar. Moving on to the ceremony section, and probably one of the hardest milk molars you're going to get. If you go to the top of the speaker, so unfortunately I haven't found an easy way to get up to this one. However, you need to make your way up on top of the amplifier. I built all the way up here, as you can see. And right at the top here, you're going to find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So for the next one in the ceremony section, you just want to come in front of the podium. You're going to find this fold up paper game. Inside of it, you're going to find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So for the next one in our ceremony section, you just want to go north from this big giant rock that's here, and you're going to find this big pile of rocks. In the middle of the rocks, you can see your next Mouldy Milk Molar. All you have to do is climb up on the side. So for the last one in the ceremony section, you want to go to the right hand side. So right up on top of this power outlet. Unfortunately, you do need to build up here once again, but once you get up here, you'll find your next milk molar. So moving on to the statue section, the first one you're going to find is down at the bottom here. Once you come onto this wall, you'll find these two bricks stacked up. and you're going to see your next milk molar. The best way to get up there is usually to use a buggy, climb up this plant right here, and then do a parkour jump over, and then collect your Mouldy Milk Molar. For this next one, you want to come to the right hand side of the statue, and you can find a little path that brings you all the way through the hedge here and over to this rose garden. Once you get to this rose garden, all you need to do is go back into this hedge, and against the wall here, you're going to find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. For this next one, it's going to be pretty difficult. You need to make your way all the way up on top of the burgle statue. Now normally you do this in the story where you'd come to this room here and you would make your way up the top. Once you do that, come through the door and you're going to find yourself on top of Burgle's mustache. What you want to do is actually drop down onto his shoulders down here and make your way all the way around the side, where you'll find the next Mouldy Milk Molar on the back side of his head. So moving on to the next section, the Croquet court. We're going to start on the right hand side, and this is where you're going to find your first milk molar. Now this one's actually not too hard, it's pretty simple. It is best to get with a buggy or something like that because it takes a bit to try and jump up onto these big leaves, but once you get up the top here, you're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar. For our next one, we're going to go right up against the wall here. You're going to see this big concrete pad that's here, and on the concrete pad is a giant light. Easy to find. Once you turn around, you're going to find your next milk molar on this leaf. So for this next one, we're going to go into the center of Croquet Court. You do need to be careful here because this is where the snake roams around. And if you're down on the ground here, he will actually get you. But once you get here, you're going to find these stacked up playing cards. Underneath them, you're going to find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So for the next one, it's not too far away from the last one. Once again, be careful because the snake does roam it all the way through here. But what you're looking for are these PVC pipes. Once you come to here, what you want to do is parkour your way across. And inside of this one here, you're going to see your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So moving on to the next area, the picnic table area. The first place we're going to go to is this giant light. Okay, so when you get here, you're going to find this giant street light. However, you need to go underneath it to get this one. Do be careful, there is a wolf spider that runs around under there. You can see him over there. I'll make my way this way.
Spiderling, I got bigger fish to fry.
And you're going to find it over the back here. Quickly grab it. And then you may want to get out of here as quick as possible. For the final one, in the picnic table area, you want to make your way up onto the table. Once you get up here, on the chair section, underneath this billy hog container, you're going to find your next milk molar. Moving on from that section and on to the pine hill. So this one, you actually start off in the picnic table area, and you want to find this pool of water here with the broken pipe. This would be a little bit difficult. You need to come in, go off to your right, and then go off to your left. You will need to do a fair bit of swimming through this. Swim all the way to the end. And you want to swim all the way down to the bottom. Once you come down to the bottom here, scan your hand first. And you'll see a door open up here. Just be careful not to run out of air. It's a little bit tricky. Now once you come to the top, you're going to find like a storage sort of room that's up in here. And your Mouldy Milk Molar right here. So the next one for the pine hill is actually going to be found on the left hand side in the hedge here. So what you want to do is make your way over to this section here where you're going to find a hole in the hedge. Once you come in here, you're going to find some roots. All you need to do is follow these all the way up. Turn to your left. Follow this tree up. And then once you come to this section here, you can go off to your left. This is where you're going to want to go. Head off to your left. It'll bring you out of the hedge and then back into a section that you can't get to unless you're following this log. What you want to do is make your way off to the right. Head over this web and follow it around until you come inside. Now this is going to be found right up in here, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but as long as you follow this, it shouldn't be too hard. Just make your way across turn to your right and follow it around. Or you can make your way down and around and back onto this web here, which will bring you back up. Once you get up the top of here, all you need to do is follow it all the way up. Now once you get to here, if you look off to your right, you'll see the Masked Stranger container. That's where you can find the Bushwhacker. I'm pretty certain it's called, it's like a bow. But you want to turn off to your left and follow this web up here. Once you come up here, you're going to find your milk molar right here. So for the final one in the Pine Hill section, we need to go over to the giant tree. Now this one here, when you come to the giant tree, you're going to find this little gap underneath it. And pretty much straight ahead is your Mouldy Milk Molar. So moving on to the next section, the fire pit. So for this one here, you want to get nice and close to the fire pit. Along the side here, we're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar. So to find the final milk molar that can be found near the fire pit, we need to make our way up under the hedge. Once you come to the back of the wood pile, you're going to find this opening under the hedge. Once you come under here, just be careful, there are some bombarder beetles and stuff like that. But over the back, you're going to find the Mouldy Milk Molar. So moving up to the next area, the brand new veggie garden. The first one that we're going to get, you can actually find on a planter box on the fence. For this one here, you want to climb up the ladder and along these planter boxes. Now normally this planter box that's above me is the one where you deactivate the AUX transmitter, but below it you're going to see another planter box. And at the back here is your Mouldy Milk Molar. However, as you can see, where is he? Right here. You do need to look out for the mantis. So there is a mantis here that will attack you. Yeah, just be careful of that. Other than that, here is your Mouldy Milk Molar. So for the next milk molar, what you want to do is make your way over near the fairy house. Once you get to the fairy house, just make your way off to the left of it. Just be careful, there is a wolf spider wandering around down there. And you want to parkour your way up these plants. Once you do that, you will see there is a milk molar on one of these leaves. So the next one actually isn't too far away from the last one. So you can actually find this on the back fence here. But what you want to do is come off to the very back corner here and you're going to find this plant. Parkour your way all the way up this plant and onto the fence. Once you come along here, just above the cabbages, you're going to find yourself your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So moving on to the next location, if you come over to the spa wall that's here, you're going to find one right here. It's actually inside of a box. So if you come to the ground level next to the water tap and the hose here, you're going to find this box. At the bottom of the box, you will find a small opening or gap right here. Once you come inside, do be careful because you will find two earwigs that are protecting it in here. Once you come in, go off to your right and you're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar right here. So moving on to the greenhouse section, the first one that we're going to find is actually on the outside of the greenhouse. Now you're going to find this watering can on the side of the greenhouse. You can either climb up the vines or drop down from the top. Either way, you want to make your way inside of the watering can. Once you do that, down the bottom, you're going to find yourself a Mouldy Milk Molar. However, make sure you come in with your buggy because I did find it hard trying to climb back out with no buggy. So moving on to the next one that is in the greenhouse section. What you want to do is make your way up on top of this wall on the left hand side. When you get up here, you're going to find this planter box that has the blue butterflies. The best way I found to come up here was to climb up this green lattice, come onto this piece of wood, make your way up into this, inside of this box, and then at the back of it there's a ramp that leads into here. Once you come into here, you're going to find your milk molar right here up against the side. So for the next milk molar in the greenhouse section, what you want to do is come up onto the roof, and on the back side here, you're actually going to find another one. So if you're looking from the roof and you look down, you can see it just chilling on the side here. It's actually not too hard to find. You can climb down here, you can glide down, whichever which way you want to go. But either way, this is where you find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So on to the next one, you're going to find on the right hand side of the greenhouse. On top of the light here, you're going to find the next milk molar. Now, in order to get up here, it's a little bit difficult. I'll show you now. So from next to the light, what you want to do is go through this hole. Go off to your right. Be careful, sometimes there is a praying mantis in here. And you will see this plant. What you want to do is parkour your way up onto the edge of this metal piece here, of this framing. Run all the way along. And then jump onto this leaf. You want to get onto the second leaf that's over here. Now this will not be easy. And what you want to do is try and line up the hole right here. Basically what you want to do is run and jump onto that and then onto your light. Once you get up here, obviously, you can get your Mouldy Milk Molar. Okay, moving on to the next section, the pumpkin patch. So the first one that we're going to find is right at the entrance here on the right hand side. What you're going to be looking for is this purple high heel shoe. This one's actually really simple. All you need to do is jump inside and you'll find your Mouldy Milk Molar right here. So for the next one, what you want to do is basically move into the middle of the pumpkin patch where you're going to find this scarecrow. So right below the scarecrow, you're going to find this pumpkin. All you need is a tier 3 axe, bust open the pumpkin, and then inside the pumpkin, as you can see right there, is your Mouldy Milk Molar. So for this next location, it's actually up on the scarecrow. So for this one, it's actually kind of difficult. So as you can see, this one's actually pretty high up. What you want to do is make your way all the way through the scarecrow. You'll have to fight a bunch of earwigs and stuff like that. Once you come out of this hole, make your way all the way up to the top here, almost to his arm, and you'll see your Mouldy Milk Molar is right here. Okay, so for this next one, you're going to find it in the new sinkhole. What you need to do is make your way into the middle of the pumpkin patch. You will find the pumpkin patch lab. You want to go off to the left of it, towards this grow box, and you're going to find this hole. You know it's the right one because it'll have a bunch of lights on top. Make your way down inside of here. Turn off to the right. Once you come out of this hole, you're going to come to this lab. Now normally this door will be shut, and what you want to do is go down to the left, all the way down through the sinkhole. What you want to bring is pumpkin pie drinks. Now consume one of these. This will help with the tang. Once you jump in, swim down, all the way along. And out the other side. You then want to climb up on top of this ant. Once you get to the top, you'll want to follow these metal pipes through this little gap. As soon as you get to the end here, you're going to find this ladder. Go straight to it and climb up it. When you come to the top, run all the way through and jump through the broken window. Follow the mushrooms off to your left. Once you come to the top, you're going to find a ramp going down to your right. You want to follow this down and then go off to your left. And follow it all the way over to the back corner here. This is where you're going to find your next Mouldy Milk Molar. So on to our next one. You're going to find this one on the very back right hand corner on top of the fence. So for this one here, you're going to need to climb up these weeds all the way up to the top. Once you get to the top, you're going to find this pot plant. Inside of this pot plant is where you're going to find your Mouldy Milk Molar. Okay, so for the final milk molar, you're going to find this on the wall on the left hand side at the very back. Now this is where all the wasps and stuff are, so you do need to be extremely careful of that. But what you want to do is climb up this wall, head right over to the back corner, and you're going to find it just chilling right here in the corner. And with that last one, that is the last milk molar. So hopefully this helped you out. Yeah, if it helped you out, smash the like button, consider hitting that subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode. See you later!